Hey guys, welcome back to the channel today. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2018 horror film, Slender Man. Now, before I get into the actual review, what I want to do is I want to go over a few things. I personally love the horror genre. It's probably my favorite genre. Some of my favorite movies would be classified as horror films. Others would be considered thrillers, but they're similar. Now, I personally love the horror genre. Scream and Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th, are probably two of my favorite films of all time. I love slashers. I love creature features. I love the horror genre overall. Now, what I want to say, basically over the last 5 or 6 years, there's been a really big horror boom, or a rebirth, so to speak. You've had films such as Insidious, Sinister, the Conjuring films, Don't Breathe, It Follows. You've had a lot of really, really good films. I also forgot the Babadook and Oculus, which were also outstanding. It's been really good. It's been really good because you had a period basically in the mid-2000s where it kind of was, you weren't really getting much. So to see this rebirth has been really exciting. Now, with that being said, there have been some really bad films in there as well, namely Annabelle and Ouija, which were just god-awful films. But with that being said, though, both their sequels did really well. Now, Slender Man 2018 is not one of the good horror films that has been part of this rebirth. It is similar to that of the first Annabelle film and the first Ouija film, where it pretty much, to be frank, it sucks. There are a lot of flaws with this film. Now, it's directed by Sylvain White, who I know a lot of people know him from Stomp the Yard. He was the director of that, as well as I believe he worked on the project The Losers. Now, I do want to say one thing about this film. It is very, very well shot. The cinematography in this film is phenomenal. I honestly have to say this is one of the best shot movies I've seen in a while. However, unfortunately, it doesn't make up for the bad writing, bad characters, and really bad acting. I was actually surprised. The amount of actors that are at least somewhat well known, I would say, at least in the horror community or for other projects, it's really bad. The acting in this film is terrible. The two main leads, I guess you could say, which are played by Joey King as well as Julia Goldani Tells. Now, both of those actresses have been in other big projects. I know King is known from The Conjuring, the first Conjuring film, as well as I believe she was in, I want to say, what other film was she in? She was in Independence Day. She was in the second Independence Day film. Now, Goldani Tells, Julia Goldani Tells, she, I believe, is the main actress on the TV show The Affair. Again, both of these actresses are not bad actresses. They've been in other projects that have been good. They've at least been perceived well. They are not good in this film. I don't necessarily know if I want to blame them. Goldani Tells' character is probably the worst acting I've seen in a big budget film. I didn't even say big, but an actual budget film in a long time. Just some of the lines she delivers just make you question, are you actually trying? Did you do multiple shoots of this? Was this the best shot you could get? Because I don't honestly believe that this was, at least it should not have been, the best take that they could have gotten out of her. And the writing, the story is just not good. And it's actually kind of sad because, again, it's a very well done film in the sense of how it was shot. The cinematography, again, is really, really good. And the concept of it is really good. For those of you who don't know, Slender Man is based off of I want to say it was 2009 that the myth kind of came about. Basically, it's an individual, or creature, so to speak, that is, for whatever reason, finds you and recruits you, and basically you disappear. I know a lot of people compare the Slender Man myth to that of the Pied Piper. For those of you who don't know about that, he goes after children. Again, it's an interesting, the myth itself is interesting, and the concept of the movie could have been really, really good if they would have changed a few things up. But overall, it's just a really bad film. in all honesty, this is probably the worst film I've seen all year. The other big issue I have with this film is that you have a monster, the Slender Man, who, again, is an interesting character, but it's basically they use all CG for him. Um, every time you see him, it's CG, and it's just not scary. I actually remember sitting through this film. It's just boring. It's a very boring film. It's nothing special with it. The writing's bad. The acting's bad. Again, it's a beautifully shot film. The soundtrack wasn't terrible, but it's boring. The monster is CGI, which I don't like CGI characters or monsters. I just don't think that it works well. Now, if you have a good story that can overcome that, or a good character, you have good characters that can help overcome that, then I think that's one thing. But this movie doesn't have it. Honestly, to be fair, I would give it a 1 out of 5 stars. I honestly think it probably should be lower, but because of how good the cinematography is, I do want to give it at least a 1 star. This is a movie I would not recommend seeing in theaters. If you want to if you want to be scared, if you want to get cheap scares, basically get a cheap scare, watch this film at Halloween. If you want to watch it for like a Halloween, just as a movie to try to be scary, I guess you could watch it around Halloween time, because, for whatever reason, I don't recommend seeing in theaters. If you're considering it, I don't think you should go. I wouldn't necessarily rent it unless it's Halloween and you want a cheap scare. That's all it is. That's the other thing. That's my other issue with this film, is it's all jump scares. It could have been a very deep psychological film, which I think is better for horror, and that's just not what this film ended up being. So that's my opinion. It's a 1 out of 5. Don't go see it in theaters. Don't rent it. Thanks for watching the video today, guys. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe. See you next time.